Have you ever had a conversation with somebody about the topic of singleness? And some may say, refer to singleness as a gift or as an opportunity to grow and become more like Jesus. And then you have those people that are just like, nah, man, you feel me? I ain't trying to be single, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find me a roof, you feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to root it up, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't got time for singleness, you feel me? Or they say things like, I know, like, I'm just gonna be single forever, and I may miss out on my Boaz, and things just are not going the way I want them to, and I know that God has a man for me, and I just want him now. Yeah, you guessed it. In this video, I'm gonna be sharing how Lord is teaching me that singleness is a gift, and 5 reasons as to why I chose to just dedicate my time to a season of intentional singleness. So without further ado, because I gotta get this over with, because my Chick-fil-A is getting cold. I got time for that. Let's hop right into the video. Reason number 1, which I believe sets the foundation for everything else I'm going to talk about in this video, and that is my relationship with the Lord. So over the last couple of years, I have constantly grown in my walk with the Lord. Yes, I've had dry season. Yes, I've been all over the place sometimes. Yes, in relationships, sometimes I really get distracted, but I really desire to grow and be more like Christ. And that requires for me to spend undistracted time just with the Lord. He's going to shape and mold me to lead well, not just a household, but potentially a church, to mature, not just grow, but to mature into a man that is a man of his word, that is a man of integrity, that is a man of self-control. And these are all things you can first and foremost find in Titus 2. This type of man is a man that is well-rounded, a man that doesn't have all this stuff together, but a man that is seeking after the face of God. Much like David. David is a man, not that I strive to be like, I strive to be like Jesus, but David is a great example of a man that is fallen, but is a man after God's own heart. And though he made mistakes, he still got up, and his life was marked by repentance and continual dedication after the Lord's heart. And by the way, in this video, I'm going to be extremely transparent, because I recognize I don't want to just live on the surface where there's this facade that I got everything together, but I want people to recognize that I'm screwed up, much like everybody else. And the Lord is continuously teaching me how to just depend on him and rely on him, and not walk by my own understanding, as we see in Proverbs 3:5, but to rely on him for every good thing, because he says in his word that the one that started a good work in you will bring it to completion. And so I recognize that this undistracted time of intentional singleness is a season for me to just devote myself to prayer, fasting, reading his word, serving others, and just respecting my sisters and my brother, as well as, because I want to be a man, obviously high reputation, but a man where I'm respecting and I'm honoring women around me that the Lord has placed in my life. So that is point number 1. Point number 2, red flags. So my past relationship, as you all know, lasted for a year. And I was about to propose. Right after everything kind of crumbled, right? I recognized I was extremely anxious. I recognized when I didn't talk to her that day, or when she just needed some space, I felt rejected. I recognized that I was oftentimes insecure about me. I compared myself to a lot of other people. And the Lord had showed me, I went through a time of trauma-informed care and different things of that sort for the previous job I had when I was working with kids. And the Lord revealed to me in that time, there's a lot of different things that you have in your heart that don't belong there. Fear, anxiety, insecurity, different things like that does not belong there. And so I'm taking the necessary steps, right, to focus on my mental health, because I recognize that I often feel rejected when I don't get hit up and invited out. I often feel rejected when, I don't get the attention that I'm craving. And that comes from me desiring to fulfill that void with things that don't work. Even Chick-fil-A, how much I love Chick-fil-A, will never fill that void. It's only Jesus. And so the Lord is teaching me that the insecurities that I have stems from the lack, from me attempting to fill that void, that emptiness in my heart with something other than Jesus. So when I become secure in Jesus, it's like I become strengthened in no matter who rejects me, no matter if I don't marry the girl of my dreams, no matter if my friends don't invite me out, right? My security and my salvation is not based on those things, but it's based on the fact that Jesus bought me with his blood, and I'm an heir with Christ, and I will reap the inheritance that he has. And so that's point number 2. Point number 3, man. Point number 3 is finances. So many of you all know that I worked at Chase for a time. And as I was working at Chase, I recognized how immature, I'm going to say that again, immature I am with money. Again, I'm being extremely transparent. I'm laying it all on the line. And the reason I'm being extremely transparent to this degree is because even if I'm humiliated, I hope that through me being honest and upfront and just real, that it will help someone else, right? So financially, I'm not in a position to pursue someone. I'm not in a position to pursue someone in marriage. I'm not in a position to pursue someone in courting, because I have to first be mature and a good steward with what the Lord has given me. Whether it's $1 or $3 million, I have to learn to be a good steward with this, so that when he does bring me into a marriage or so, that I have the foundation and I can lead well and mature with my money. So the 4th point is responsibility, right? Goals, right? Tess, what are your goals? That's one thing that I have been up and down and all over the place. And I truly believe that I honestly have what I desire to do and what I believe the Lord is calling me to do in place. In the beginning, when God created Adam, right, he didn't give him Eve before he gave him responsibility. And then he gave Eve to him as a helpmate. And Eve's responsibility was to simply help and walk through with him, helping him tend to the garden, helping him, name the animals or whatever responsibility there was at that time. And so I truly believe that the Lord is calling me to be to have these responsibilities before he blesses me with a woman that can actually help me in that. Because a man that is not working, a man that is not doing anything is an idle man, and that's a man that is leading himself to destruction. You can see that in Ecclesiastes, I believe it's 4, right? When it says people chase after success because they envy their brother. And they said, it talks about a lazy man or a lazy person, a couple verses down. And I don't have that direct scripture, but it's there. Look it up, Ecclesiastes 4. You know what? Read the whole book of Ecclesiastes. That's what I'm saying right there. Number 5. And this one is very deep to me. Number 5 is my purity. Where do I even begin? I have not always been a man of integrity in regards to purity. I have not always been a man where I have been able to utilize self-control. I have not always been pure, and I struggle with that. And again, you're asking Tess, why are you being very vulnerable? I don't care if people look at me and say, Tess is the man. That's not my goal here, right? My goal is to be vulnerable to the sense, to the point where others can truly benefit and grow from this vulnerability, because this is healing for me, right? I used to be ashamed of what I had endured as a child. I used to be ashamed. And now I recognize that no longer, that I'm not bound by that, right? That is not who I am, right? And because that is no longer who I am, that I'm free from that. As Romans 6 talks about, right? Now I can stay free, right? And the more I confess and the more I bring it to the light, right? The more freeing it is, and the less the enemy can truly say, Tez, you remember you this, and that, right? Because I'm like, well, I shared it, right? So number 5 is my purity. Again, having a conversation with the owner of the Needhammer, and he says, think about it. It's like, why would the Lord give you his daughter's hand in marriage, right? And you're impure and you can't control yourself. And that was a punch in the heart, because I recognize self-control is one of those various attributes, right, that one would need to properly lead. Because if I don't utilize that self-control, or if I don't have that self-control, right, it'd be easy for me to waver. It'd be easy for me to run off and do something very dumb, right? And so the Lord is not just teaching me this in the context of relationship, but in the context of singleness, in the context of leading a church, right? Because I truly believe the Lord has called me to pastor a church, right? But I first have to be in the season where I am maturing and I'm growing in purity, right? Not just purity of the mind, where I can look and acknowledge that that person is beautiful, but not go beyond that, but also in the heart, where is my intentions, right? Because you can have also impure intentions with my body physically, right? I must be pure physically, but the Lord in his grace will give me the will and the strength to utilize those self-control. And the beautiful thing about this, right, is that I don't have to sit there and fight and suffer through the time of temptation, right? He doesn't tell us to fight sexual temptation. He tells us to flee, to run. And so I'm practicing that flee mechanism, or whatever you want to call it, simply because the Lord has really taught me, right, that I don't have the strength to sit and fight. I don't. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm weak. I am completely, utterly weak. And it's only when you can recognize that you're completely, utterly weak that the Lord can come in and do some work, right? And so that is all the points that I have for you all today. I want to share that singleness is not a burden. Singleness is not a disease. It's a gift from the Lord. And I want you, and I dare you, I challenge you. Yeah, you right there. I challenge you, right, to take this season of singleness, if you're single, right, and recognize that it is a gift, and cling to the Lord, because he's going to help you. Yes, sometimes I feel lonely. Yes, sometimes it sucks, right? But the Lord is teaching me that contentment doesn't mean that everything is la-di-da. It just means that you recognize the goal and you're okay with just being with him. So that's all I have for you all today. Thank you again for tuning in to this episode of Infinite Grace TV. Again, my name is Tez. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, like, share with Pookie and them, because they need that. And also, go get some Chick-fil-A, because it's awesome. Without further ado, it's your boy, and I'm back out quiet.